Senator John Get Hederman. Josh, how you doing this evening?
Doing great on the Get Hederman cast.
Are you part of the Suck Caucus? Yeah, I think he is in more than one way, because he sucks. So if there was a caucus for people who sucked, he would be in it.
Sorry, I'm still now. I gotta read a little bit more about this.
The suicide bombing.
Haddish.
Oh.
Yeah, the suicide bombing. What suicide bombing?
No, I'm just just because of you always looking at something bad.
Oh no, I'm looking at Know Your Meme, but the parasites in me want the candy. It went viral recently, but I guess it's from something. She was promoting a movie back last year.
Gotcha.
6 million plays
on is it TikTok?
In 10 months. That's chump change.
Yeah.
Couldn't quite crack 1 million likes though. 900,000 likes. Oh, this is the world I live in. Wow, there's so much more information on this meme as I scroll. Well, not that much more. Mostly it's just people memifying it on TikTok. TikToker at mo.donut reposted the aforementioned clip with subsequent videos to the sound from this re-upload. I love this robotic description of what TikTok just is. It just makes it sound even more kind of weird, like reaction videos or like videos where people just lip sync. God, I remember the fucking I don't know if it was on TikTok or what, but during the heyday of the resistance against Trump, there was that woman who made an entire career temporarily out of lip syncing to Trump clips. You remember that shit? I barely remember it. Like I caught up with it late, I think. Oh, you're on mute, man. I was wondering why you're ignoring me.
Oh, yeah. I was saying no, I'm not familiar with that, and it sounds bad. I don't like it. So
I'm surprised. I thought for sure you would know what I was talking about.
Nah, I don't remember that. Oh, thank God. Oh man. Yeah, no, I'm not familiar with that. Really, that sounds really fucking bad.
Sarah Cooper. No, it was like hugely popular, like amongst the. Yeah, she like the first thing that comes up. I just searched Trump lip syncing person, but it's like her being interviewed by Stephen Colbert. Like she was huge, and like literally, it's all she did. Like it was the stupidest shit.
Yeah,
it was huge. Yeah, there's a whole this is like 2020 whole whole article in the Guardian on her.
An Ardian, yeah.
Yeah, she's a real Ardian.
That's how we call it. We call articles in the Guardian Ardians. Everyone knows that.
And now here we go. Daily Beast 2022. Cut to 2022. Sarah Cooper on Trump, quote, fatigue and, quote, waking up to... What? What did she wake up to? Waking up to politics again. Oh, what a fucking hack.
Yeah.
What the fuck? 2 years after her Trump lip syncs went viral, comedian Sarah Cooper is back with a new audiobook, a role in Jerry Seinfeld's Pop-Tart movie. Was that a thing that I missed existing?
No, I don't. That's not real. They're making this up.
Pop-Tart movie. What the fuck is this? It is a real thing, and she really is in it. It hasn't come out yet. It looks like it says it's coming out in like 6 days from now.
Unfrosted?
May 3rd, 2024. Yes, unfrosted. Holy
All
shit.
right,
I gotta watch this.
We're going to be reviewing this one.
Yeah, should we do a live commentary on the trailer?
Oh, sure. You want to do that now?
I mean, I don't know. Why not?
Fuck it. Yeah, might as well.
We're discovering this in real time.
Looks bad.
Jesus Christ, Seinfeld.
Get it together, Seinfeld.
Oof, this is gonna be bad. All right. Let's take 2 minutes out of our busy schedule here and watch the Pop-Tart unfrosted straight to Netflix, I'm assuming. Trailer.
Maybe. You think
It's
so?
just, I mean, it's a Netflix movie, it looks like. So
okay.
I assume it.
Yeah, but
They probably,
Netflix,
it could be in theaters, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, Netflix does that. They bought theaters just to show Netflix movies.
Yeah, that's right. I think Amazon was doing that at some point. I feel like as well.
Yeah. I think you're right.
It's the new studio system.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
The Streamio system. Okay. Here we go.
Got it.
I'm hearing nothing. Why? I don't even know if I want to hear anything.
This is so bad already.
Good God.
Even just that opening bit is just so incredibly stupid.
Still hearing nothing. God damn it. What the fuck? Well, wait, are you getting sound on this?
Yeah.
Oh, weird. Well, this looks terrible. Oh, great. Amy Schumer. Cool. This really makes me want to see it.
Yeah. Shocking.
The arms,
God damn it,
breakfast
this is not
arms
funny.
race. That's funny. Oh no, Andy Daly. Well, get your paycheck, I guess. I hate everything. Oh, is that Bill Burr as like a I'm guessing a Kennedy-esque president? I couldn't hear his voice.
I think he's supposed to be the president of the company.
His wig, I don't know, his Boston-ness, I just assumed he's going for some Kennedy thing. No sound.
You don't have sound on the video?
The subtitles.
Okay, because the thing is, the sound on it is very loud for me, so I had to turn it down, so it makes it hard for me to even hear what you're saying.
Down here. Wow, look at all those fucking names.
Well, yeah, of course. Of course. It seems very bad, but in a different way than I was expecting.
They put the Trump
that
lip singer,
that fucking sucks, and I hate it.
lip syncer person above Kyle Mooney, Drew Tarver,
Kyle Mooney,
who are, I mean, anyone is by definition funnier than her. Has to be, right? I mean,
you don't know that for sure. I mean,
work.
You would think. Right. You would think that if she was funny and good at some point, you would have heard about that other than just the lip syncing thing. But again, maybe,
Good
maybe,
God,
maybe.
unfrosted.
I will say it was bad. And like I said, bad and not the way I would have predicted. Because it was I was thinking maybe it was going to be like a realistic or like a biography about the history or whatever, like they did with that Hot Cheeto movie or whatever, which I did not ever watch. Did you watch that?
I didn't know that was a thing. Now I have to know that.
It's like Flamin' Hot or something. Anyways.
Good God, a movie about the origin of Flaming Hot Cheetos.
Right. But
that's
that one almost kind of makes sense a little bit more because part of it is because I think the person who came up with it is Latino, so they kind of wrapped it in that. You know what I mean? To be this is this is about Latino excellence, right?
that seems like the most racist thing ever.
It seems like it, yes, but the guy is Latino, so it's not, you know what I mean? It's
so they're he brought his Latin spice to America when everyone said the odds were against him.
Right, and that's how you make it this uplifting story about
But it's not uplifting. It's it sounds like a bad racist joke almost. It's
I know, but that's the way they presented it.
He's one of the good ones. I like those. I like them spicy cheaters.
Yeah, but it's a rags to riches story. I think he's some just janitor or something, you know what I mean? And then he comes up with, we should make Cheetos but spicy. I don't know, I'm sure it's got a scene where he shows like his
groundbreaking idea.
Yeah, like his abuela is like chopping up peppers and putting them on the Cheetos, and that's what they all eat.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm guessing.
I can't believe this is real.
I haven't seen the movie. I'm guessing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that's how it goes.
I hope that's what it is.
Yeah, but that's kind of what I figured, that the Pop-Tart thing was going to be along those lines. But it looks like they're really doing is like a parody. So even the beginning, how it was like stupid with the launch thing, which I guess you couldn't even really tell what was going on because you couldn't hear it. But they were doing like the countdown.
I imagine it was a 2001 or something.
And then
was it really
yes,
that
and then,
soundtrack?
No. It was like just doing the countdown, like, you know, like they're doing the countdown for the launch. Boom. Oh, it takes off. Then it comes back and Jerry Seinfeld says, I believe we've split the atom of breakfast or whatever.
Oh
yeah. So
God.
So the whole thing,
I missed that in the subtitles.
So the crux of the joke is it's taking something goofy like Pop-Tarts and making a parody of like Oppenheimer and you know, that kind of stuff, but about Pop-Tarts. That's like that's the bit.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it looks like they started filming this, like started production on this movie like years ago, though.
Right.
If they were talking about this Sarah Cooper being cast in it back in 2022.
Yeah, but I mean that's like the concept. It seems, you know, I'm not saying it's like a 1-to-1 parody of that, but it's a parody of that genre of movie. Like, oh, you know, and probably the Flaming Hot movie as well. Being like, oh, we could do like that, but we could make it like, we can make fun of. So it's like a lot of stuff in there that's clearly meant to be funny, and that's actually, like I said, what makes it almost worse, because it's just incredibly painfully unfunny. So yeah, we're going to be watching that and reviewing it on the podcast.
It seems to be a trend of like movies centered around single products lately. Right. Which is also like, again, part of the parody of that. I watched 2 of them and kind of like hated them, but they were, I mean, I guess they were kind of interesting at the same time.
Okay.
The one about Air Jordans. Air.
Sure.
And then the one about the invention of the BlackBerry.
And what's that one
called? I think it's just called BlackBerry. This Sarah Cooper person had a Netflix special. What did she do? Whatever. Maybe she probably is. She probably has like a stand-up routine or whatever. She probably does stuff, but like just happens to be most famous for this bullshit lip syncing thing. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
She worked at Google before pursuing comedy.
Ooh, that's not a great sign.
Here.
That doesn't make me go, yeah, I bet she's very talented and funny.
I mean, her just lip syncing Trump audio is the number one like suspect thing.
Sure.
About her not being funny.
That's fair.
Sorry to be so sidetracked.
That's fine.
I think we found. I mean, it led me to find out that there's a Cheetos movie, so it's all worth it.
That's a plus.
And Unfrosted. I was thinking, like, probably won't do it, but I could see like a possible episode on just like product movies.
Sure.
But I don't know. I don't know what the angle really would be on that. But I'm looking back in the open tabs here and realizing this all stemmed from you telling me about fucking pedophilia lady.
Yeah.
Candy parasites. Oh, what? God, my computer is being a fucking little bastard. All right. Really this time, all right.
Awesome. Nice. I actually figured out a way to make this work. I had to get an extension to make night mode on Google Docs, but it worked.
Yeah, Google Docs was just giving me some weird shit about hitting Control V to paste something. It was like, do you want to install something to help you do that? What the fuck are you talking about?
That's weird. That's a weird one.
Yeah, it was very weird. All right.
Maybe
here we go.
Well, okay, maybe you had something on your clipboard that you didn't realize, and it was like you were trying to paste something, and it was saying you would need help. Anyway, I don't know. I don't need to make excuses for Google Docs.
It wasn't like any, like, it wasn't like anything I'd ever seen before.
So it was a regular-sized penis?
Yeah. It was terrifying.
He walked out in the gray light and stood, and he saw for a brief moment the absolute truth of the world. The cold, relentless circling of the intestate earth. Darkness implacable. The blind dogs of the sun in their running. The crushing black vacuum of the universe. And somewhere 200 animals trembling like ground foxes in their cover. Borrowed time and borrowed world and borrowed eyes with which to sorrow it.
And lo, for the earth was empty of form, and void, and darkness was all over the face of the deep, and we said, look at that fucker dance.
And welcome to Heat Death of the Universe, a podcast that wins space out competitions, intentionally impoverishes itself to prove that bootstraps exist. Biological evolution is a fraud, and t-shirts make us brave. It is 11:24 a.m., April 27th, KST, year of our Lord 2024. Josh here, Tim over yonder in Hollyweirdville, California, USA, North America, Northern Hemisphere, Earth, Solar System, Milky Way.
The global north.
How's it going in the global north? Good, sir.
It's going good. It's going good. Just getting through it.
Battling the candy parasites.
Yes, trying to keep from having too many devils tell me to molest children. And I'll just let that hang in the air as is. Been enjoying the new Taylor Swift record a ton. Been really into that. I don't know about you, but
I'm not. But you just reminded me of something I wanted to look at. It was just a headline I saw somewhere. It was like, why no one can be neutral on Taylor Swift, and I was so indignant at seeing that. I was like, I can fucking be neutral.
Hell yeah. That's pretty good. I like that.
I don't know where I saw that. Somewhere in my damn email.
On the damn email, huh?
Yeah. Here, I found it.
Perfect.
Let's see what that was about. It's a good way to start the show.
Perfect
After dithering around for 20 minutes before discovering so many great new upcoming projects. Seinfeld, Unfrosted. It's our friends at Vox tell us that it's impossible to be neutral about Taylor Swift. I already don't want to read the rest of this. The Tortured Poets Department. I'm guessing a podcast.
I think that's the name of her new album.
Oh, okay. It's about that and the broke.
That name is so dumb that like I thought people were making a joke because people were posting like bad lyrics from the album and just putting like Tortured Poets Department on the bottom.
Yeah.
Right? And I was just like, oh yeah, it's so funny. Like from the Tortured Poets Department, right? Like, oh, like they're just making a joke. Like this would be like something written by a tortured poet, but that's literally the name of the album.
Yeah. I'm like now realizing I had heard about that and like just swept it out of my brain and moved on. Maybe I'm not as neutral as I want to believe I am, but I'll just say I preemptively hate this article and this whole discourse.
Yeah, gonna have to agree with you on that. It's one of those ones, yeah, where like you said, I think I can be neutral on Taylor Swift, but I cannot be neutral on the discourse about this album and Taylor Swift.
To some, she's a ruthless capitalist who crisscrosses the earth on her private jet, yells at her sweet professional football player boyfriend, and doesn't have the integrity to take a side in the upcoming election. Well, anyway.
That's pretty good.
To others, she's the greatest songwriter of her generation, a feminist who isn't afraid to be successful or even misunderstood, because everything she does is for her fans. I'm so bored by the sound of myself even reading that. Anywho,
Sure.
We're back, baby. Back to an old
back to the Red Scare scrounge up. Everyone ready? Let's hear. Let's talk about what's been going on. No, I actually don't really have it.
I was gonna say standard, more standard format of the show. Of I've got a list of not necessarily connected articles and headlines to bounce off of. I was just trying. Now that you brought up Red Scare, I was remembering something that deep reaches of my brain. Oh yeah, Dasha's in some new French movie that actually looks really good. But then when I saw she was in it, I started to get an ucky feeling. But anyway, whatever.
I don't mind it. It's like, God, I can't even believe we're getting into this. I should have just not said anything. My only thing is just like now, even though I still listen to the episodes, like sometimes I like stop and I'm like this is just, I cannot believe like the frog in the pot thing, which is like I guess apocryphal anyways, but like how fucking racist it has gotten, like how just blatantly like they used to like tease and joke about mentioning him, but on the most recent episode, like Anna is just like full on quoting Steve Saylor. Like, it's not a wink and a nod. It's not a joke anymore. You know what I mean? And it's just like, yeah, this shit is like really fucking right wing, racist as fuck. Like it's crazy how far it's gone. And it's just like, it feels normal just because they like incrementally moved that way. But compared to the beginning, it's like, it's nuts.
Yeah. I mean, like, I realized maybe through doing the podcast, especially because I feel like, you know,
our
get this obligation to have a fucking take on everything. Even the term having a take fucking makes my skin crawl. But just the whole phenomenon of trying to like figure out how much of what people are doing online is 1-800-777 genuine or purely a symptom of the grifts, or you know, the attention economy, whatever, insert buzzword that gets at what I'm trying to say. And I suppose, yeah, I mean, there are like several things here that exemplify that, including Cucker Tarlson, his appearance on the Joe Rogan show, and just denying that evolution is real, which just, I mean, by itself is cool. is very dull, and it's like, you know, getting worked up about shit like that is
it's funny.
It could be funny, but it's also like, you know, it's like a waste of time. Like, I don't know, but it just made me feel like, I mean, my sort of commentary out just in the document here is like, what fucking year is this? Because it just feels like a crazy thing to say, even for someone of his ilk, I guess.
Yeah.
Especially like in the context of being on Joe Rogan's podcast. Did he think that Rogan would be sympathetic to that? I don't know. Did you see that? Did you watch the clip? Like, it was just it was shockingly stupid. It just it stunned me how that it existed, and that it was from this year of our Lord 2024. Like he literally uttered the cliche, like the cliche beyond cliche of it's just a theory.
Yeah, he kept
like
saying
it was boggling my mind.
And it's been around for so long as a theory. I mean, if there was anything to it, it would have been proven by now. Which it's like,
it just really took me back to, like, you know, the early days of like that, when that was like a raging argument in the culture wars, you know. But I guess it never really went away. It just like became less visible, I suppose. But like, I don't know. I would have never guessed, like, as craven as a guy like Tucker Carlson is, that he would like stoop to that weird level of has been proven. You know, it's a theory. Just a complete misunderstanding of what the word theory means in science, of course. But anyway, I'm not bringing it up because I want to like point by point talk about how wrong he is.
Let's get into the scientific method here real quick. No, but yeah, I mean, again, I was even gonna say, like, being like, well, if there was so much to it, I mean, it wouldn't be a theory anymore. At this point, it would be proven. And it's like, dude, the earth is melting. We can't fucking figure out a cure for cancer. We've got treatments, but no way to eradicate AIDS. Polio is coming back. Do you think that science is spending a lot of time researching fucking evolution in general? We can barely do shit that matters. Why would we waste time trying to prove evolution? Right? Like, what are you talking about? Like, and,
well, I mean,
like you said, because of the way science works, like, you can't, a theory like that or a theory like gravity is not able to be proven.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, but like he's using the word in the completely wrong way.
Right.
Like he's using it as like hypothesis, right? So it's like, no, it's not the guesswork that this is a thing. It's this large body of evidence that they call evolutionary theory. But anyway, I was just... Well,
yeah, no, again, that's why I like even reference the gravity thing. It's like, it's the same as gravity, where for it to become a law...
Or the fact that disease can travel from one organism to another is a theory. I mean, these are all scientific theories. But
right, they're theories because, again, like you said, the way language works in context, blah, blah, blah.
And I mean, I guess like sort of trailing right along that story is the thing you sent me that I saw elsewhere as well. Aaron Rodgers going off about how AIDS was created by Anthony Fauci, which that itself is just whatever, you know. He's an idiot. But like the part that I found more...
How many monkeys... Did he say how many monkeys Fauci had to fuck to figure it out?
I don't think I actually even listened to what he had to say. I listened to like 10 seconds of it. No, I did listen to like a little short clip of it. But the part that kind of irritated me more was the commentary on it that I saw like on Reddit, on this one Reddit that just posted the same video, and they're like, what a fool, what a crazy guy. And it's like, well, yeah. But then it was people who were basically like, it was basically like the COVID culture wars all coming to surface again, of just like, and this is shit that, you know, I talked about on this show like years ago. Like, I was outraged when like they named Anthony Fauci like person of the year or whatever, and how like your standard issue libs were like just sucking that guy's dick constantly because he would do like a talk to the hand motion to Trump like once every financial quarter or something. I don't know. I did I did a whole episode about how that guy is actually evil and he doesn't have to have invented AIDS to have been evil.
Right. I mean, he's Italian. It's in their nature.
He's Italian. Yeah, because there were the two Italian zaddies of that era of a whole 2 years ago. We had
Fauci and
Cuomo-sexuals just coming out of the woodwork. And they were both evil fucks. And right. But yeah, like Fauci
I think my Fauci ouchie turned me Cuomo sexual.
Right. Jesus Christ.
Right? That was the t-shirt that was on Facebook, probably one of the I guess did they have AI generated t-shirts back before times?
I'm sure that t-shirt exists, and if not, some version of that is a meme is somewhere tattooed on someone. I don't know. But no, Fauci really did like mishandle the AIDS epidemic in the 80s, like to put it nicely. Like he went on television and said that people could get HIV from each other simply by living in the same apartment with zero.
I mean, he's just being honest. He's saying that's why you don't have a roommate. You know, you don't do the like roommate with someone that you're friends with or find attractive, right? Because you're just asking for trouble. You're going to end up swapping bodily fluids. Fauci's just being realistic.
Yeah, I mean, he also, yeah.
yeah. Thanks for endorsing that one. Thanks. That's a good.
I'm sure that didn't result in like even more demonization of the gay community at the time, and like,
right.
And anyway, I'm not gonna see whatever episode that was. I forget, but I went into great detail, I think, about not only that, but like a few other nasty things that guy did. But anyway, so as much as Aaron Rodgers is a moron spreading stupid conspiracy theories, and like that was the thing at the time too, is like Rand Paul was like calling Fauci out for like lying about all sorts of things to do with like the research being done in like the Wuhan lab and stuff like that. And just people's knee-jerk reaction is just like, oh, if someone I don't like is interrogating someone, that person must be a hero. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. God damn it. So it's been a while since I've said fuck Anthony Fauci on the podcast. So
Sure.
I felt like saying it again.
And you know what? While we're at it, similar everything, fuck Anthony Fantano. Why not?
Who?
Anthony Fantano? The needle drop guy? You don't know?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
He's like he's a music reviewing guy. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Is
the needle drop?
Is that the pitchfork kind of guy? The like indie expert?
The bald glasses guy, yeah.
Bald glasses guy?
Yeah.
Okay, I know who that is.
Fuck
Music
him.
critic and internet
name.
personality. Yeah, I know him. He likes Radiohead or something.
Sure. I mean, I think of him more as a hip hop guy, but I think he is into like garage rock and stuff too. Which neither of those things really hit Radiohead, but that's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen him very limited exposure to him.
6'1". It says he's 6'1", 6 feet 1 inch, and he does not. He has shrimpy boy energy to me. He doesn't come across like he would be that tall.
Yeah, I believe that as much as I believe Fauci started the AIDS epidemic. 100%. What else is in the news? Probably nothing else.
No, that's it. We're good. See ya. Talk to you guys next week.
Hilarious. The most hilarious video I've seen since we last joined last week was I don't even know what to call her. We'll call her Jew Israel t-shirt lady.
Oh, yes. This is actually, I think her official name, while I do like that, I think her official name should be The Bravest Little Wife.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, for those who don't know, listeners at home, on the move, and so on, there was this Jewish couple, I guess, and they went down to Colombia. I assume that's where they were, right? anyway, they went to one of the encampments that have popped up somewhat recently on college campuses to show their disdain for people that oppose genocide. And just this most obnoxious looking person with a t-shirt with like, it looks like just handwritten, the word Jew on the front, the word Israel on the back. Her husband's like doing like 360 shots around her as she stands with like hands on hips, like defiantly. And you know what I started thinking about, because of these like the encampments popping up, and like how we just were talking about, Occupy Wall Street like 2 weeks ago. Just, I don't know, the similarities, I guess, just in the sense of like using a sort of like permanent encampment as a form of protest, but then also like the way that I'm like poring over like social media and getting lost down these rabbit holes of like, hey, here's another video of police totally violently like arresting people for no reason, which is like a lot of what I did during the Occupy times in my online life. But anyway, just with like those parallels in mind, it dawned on me probably like the fifth or sixth time I watched this dumb video of the brave little wife, or whatever you called her. She looked like she was almost trying to take on the statue of the brave girl facing down the bull.
Right. Yeah.
So her like chin upturned, and so like the whole thing is that like just zero acknowledgement from anyone there. Like, and of course, like they went there to provoke people and to like,
right.
Their like greatest hope was that someone would like, physically attack her or something. Right. Or, scream,
or really even acknowledge her.
Yeah. Yeah. But they were like, they go like, she goes in with the attitude as like, she's ready to like be pelted by like K slurs and like, rotten produce alike. Right. And just like, you just see people like milling around and like continuing to go about their business. And like, it's pretty funny. It's one of the little silver linings in all of this horrible Israel-Palestine shit going on. So yeah, I liked that. It was pretty funny. I don't know what there is really to add to like, I mean, other than, solidarity with all the kids across the land camping out and protesting. I think it's a good thing. Did you see BB's direct response to it, though, and how he's basically said that the college campuses in America are basically the same as what was taking place on the college campuses in Germany in the 1930s? I
did not. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that. That's spicy.
You called me a Nazi? You're the Nazis.
Yeah.
It's basically...
You gotta flip it. You do Uno. You gotta do the Uno Reverso, right? You gotta pull out the old switcheroo card on them and say, "Nah, I'm rubber and you're glue," and whatever kind of Nazi you call me, it bounces off. And obviously, everyone knows the rest.
It's just so insane. Like, I mean, it's also like not surprising, I guess, but it's still insane and frustrating beyond words to like see like the general sort of mainstream coverage of these protests all get characterized as like violently anti-Semitic. And it's like, first of all, the only violence being done anywhere on these campuses is like state violence issued by the police on behalf of these universities that are essentially just no different than any other business corporation. And that's why they're being part of the reason they're being protested is, people that are like high up the ladder at Columbia, like are, on the board of Lockheed Martin and Raytheon and so on. I mean, the other absurdity of it is that like a fair amount of these protesters are Jewish themselves, and that at Columbia they banned the is it Jewish Voice for Peace? I can't remember the exact name of the organization, but
that sounds, yes, I think that sounds right.
They're like a pro-Palestinian Jewish organization. Yeah, Jewish Voice for Peace. Right. They were banned in like mid-October from doing any sort of demonstrations on Columbia's campus. So
Sure.
where was the outrage about anti-Semitism then? It's like you're banning Jews from raising their voices. Yeah, but those are the self-hating ones. They don't count.
Right, they're basically goy at this point. They've internalized goy-sogyny so much that they don't. But I do want to just quickly interject, because you brought up Netanyahu, and one thing I hate about any government, but I don't like the Israeli government for this, is like when you have a prime minister and a president. Don't like it. I think it's too confusing. My brain, my Americuck brain believes that you have one or the other, but I was looking through, because of that, I looked through the list of Israeli prime ministers on Wikipedia, and I would recommend that people give it a look, because there's some interesting looking fellas mostly, and there's only like one lady, and she just looks normal. But give a once over on the history of Israeli prime ministers, and you're gonna like the way they look.
They look.
Yeah. There's one guy, Moish Sharit. He was pretty early on. He's I'll just say, dangerously close to rocking a Hitler stash in this picture. It's kind of interesting for an early. He became prime minister in 1951, and he was like, I'm gonna be the prime minister of Israel, and I'm going to have almost have a Hitler stash.
That's,
as they called it before Hitler, the toothbrush mustache, or the toothbrush mustache, which I do like that name. It's a much better name.
Oh yeah, that's very much. I'm seeing it now.
Yeah, right. It's like it's right on the border. You're like almost right there, buddy.
I didn't realize that Ben Gurion became prime minister a second time.
Yeah, that was one thing I noticed too. I didn't mean to derail us here, but it's kind of interesting for them to have done the split term, 2-time prime minister so early on.
He looks like Arthur Schopenhauer with like this fucking devil horns,
yes. Yeah.
Horseshoe balding haircut. But
it's a weird
hey,
look.
maybe I shouldn't say that the Jewish prime minister looks like he has horns.
Looks like an evil devil. Yeah, he might have a tail also. No.
Borat's gonna come after me.
Throw the Jew down the well, so my country can be free. You must grab him by his horns, then we have a big party.
Check out Higale Alone, right? He looks mostly normal, except for if you look at him and you kind of think that he looks a lot like Vince Vaughn. He just looks like almost exactly like just like a slightly older Vince Vaughn. It's pretty cool.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, I see it. He looks like
he loo's almost identical to Vince Vaughn
with a missing chromosome.
Sure. Yeah. He is the Aldi Vince Vaughn.
Yeah. I told you, like, first things first, as I woke up this morning, gotta check in with my depressing news feeds, and I got a little bit lost down this one about one of the more influential rabbis.
Shmuley,
I can't find it again. Not Shmuley. A guy who's much more
He's the most influential.
Much more outwardly evil guy whose name I cannot conjure up, but anyway, it was just like it was a wild list of quotes from him, just about how like the goyim are our slaves, and that they're only good to like the only reason God keeps them alive is the same reason God keeps like a donkey alive, because they're useful. Anyway, this was the same.
And not me. When I first wake up, I gotta fire up my random old Jewish guy picture generator. And it just serves me I just click through a couple dozen old pictures of old Jewish dudes, and then I'm ready to start my day energized and refreshed.
Yeah, I started my day with some BB and his rabbi friend. This is the same rabbi who he works for, like one of the the IDF like military academies, and he from on high decreed that it was totally kosher to rape, but only if they're not Jewish rape victims.
Sure.
But anyway, I mean, I guess in the shadow of this genocide adjacent topic, I'll add on, sort of goes more along with the t-shirt wife, the brave t-shirt wife. There's this guy in across the pond in a jolly old London town who's just doing like a big old like self-victimization campaign that has been like thoroughly debunked, and it just reminded me of the whole Jussie Smollett debacle.
Yeah, I think
thing.
it's Smollett.
I
believe is how it's pronounced. Yeah.
Gideon Falter, who I've never heard of, but he was, I don't know. He's basically, he like went to a pro-Palestine demonstration and was trying to make it look like he was being like attacked, even though it was just the same kind of thing of like he was just provoking and no one was reacting. And then the police basically told him, we can see the cops are actually like in the right in a way, unlike, you know, how things usually go in the US in these sorts of situations where they were just literally trying to keep the peace. They basically told this guy, like, we're watching you. We see what you're doing. You're like trying to provoke people. You're not just wandering through, as he claimed. He's like, I'm just coming back from temple. Happened to walk through this giant political protest. I had no idea it was here, even though he's got like a film crew and bodyguards and shit. Anyway, it was like a whole long thing. A whole long sort of investigative article I read about it, which was somewhat interesting. Not nearly as funny as the t-shirt lady, but same dynamics at play, I'll say. The Zionist Jussie Smollett. And then we can move beyond this topic after I mentioned that there was also a big story where New York Times memo got leaked. The Intercept did a whole long investigation into it. And basically, it was telling journalists not to use the words genocide, ethnic cleansing, occupied territory, and so on. Very unsurprising, but, you know, it's like solid evidence. Solid evidence, unlike the fucking Darwin shit. It's all faith-based. And yeah, of course, the New York Times is also like reacting to this leak by like just clamping down even harder, like its offices, and like telling people to basically shut the fuck up. I'm doing a crackerjack job of summing up the news today.
I like it. I think the last story I had some follow-up questions, but honestly, I don't even remember them enough to care.
The British guy one?
Yeah. I mean, again, who
there
cares?
wasn't a whole lot to it. It was just a lot of like,
it wasn't much else.
Like, I'm a victim. No, you're not. Here's proof you're not. Even the cops, like pointed out that you're being a little asshole.
You're being a fucking prick. Okay. Well, so it's like, it's a repeat of the bravest little wife.
Yeah. Except like this guy's like a celebrity, I guess, of some sort. At least like in England. But the final thing on this topic is well, you know, some say people are saying, folks, that the IDF is the most moral army in the world, as evidenced by 42,000 people killed in less than 7 months, and many more under the rubble, and mass graves being dug up in the last week, graves filled with people with their hands tied behind their back or with hospital gowns on, and children, all terrorists, of course, as some official representatives of the Israeli government have gone on news shows and said, well, they're terrorists, of course. Anyway, I didn't.
Yeah, what are we supposed to do?
Get into the mass graves thing. That's a whole other thing. But what I'm leading up to here.
Yeah. The crushed under rubble thing is pretty cool. I like that. I liked hearing about that earlier today. It's fun.
Yeah. I mean, also evidence of people being buried alive in these mass graves. It's all further evidence of the most moral army in the world at work, but also a new novel tactic that I hadn't heard of before. They're using drones, these little drones, mini drones, not the bomb dropping kind. They're not monsters.
No.
But the drones play audio of what sounds like people yelling out for help in Arabic to lure people out of their homes to then summarily be sniped.
See, this is an interesting one because I can't believe this one, is making the rounds a second time and getting people into it. Because this was known months ago.
Oh, was it?
This was a thing that they were talking. I mean, they didn't say drones, but they said basically the same thing, that the IDF would drive around and they would have a speaker system in whatever their, armed vehicle that they would drive through neighborhoods, and they would be playing screams for help and crying over the speakers to get to suss people out.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this
but,
is...
Yeah, but this got updated. It's sexier because it's got drones. Drones are really hot right now. We could talk about John Fetterman's line about drones. They're in right now.
Yeah, I'm here for it, as John Fetterman would say. Yeah, but I think maybe it popped back up because, like you said, it's a new format, new technology playing this stuff, and it's not just playing the sounds of women and children screaming for help, but also they're just floating these drones outside of the refugee camps and playing sounds of warfare, like explosions and gunshots and agonized screams, which is obviously just psychological torture. So again, just further evidence of the most moral army in the world. The one lady who was saying that all the people in this mass grave must be terrorists by definition, including the children and the people with the hands tied and whatnot. She's like, Israel has the greatest record on civilian to terrorist ratios or whatever. And it's what do you mean by greatest? Because it's, last I read, it was almost unprecedented in a bad way. It's 95% civilians. But anyway, leaving aside such sunny news for the time being, I don't know what looks good here. We were talking about Fetterman. What did Fetterman do now?
Well, let's talk about that clip from was it Useful Idiots, or was it oh god, I want to say Kate, but I forget what her name is, what her last name is. Anyways,
Katie Halper.
Anyways, yeah, Katie Halper. Let's talk about that clip. I already brought it up and referenced it. Might as well. Is that actually even on the list?
No, it is. Right? I mean, but there's not much to it really, except he's being interviewed on some news show, and he basically is egging on the idea of starting a war with Iran. And he sounds the way the clip is presented by Useful Idiots, Katie Halper and Aaron Mate. I always want to say mate because that seems correct, because there's an accent mark over the E, but it's mate. He says it that way himself. That's how I know. Anyway.
Wow, because I was listening to that podcast when he first kind of took over as the host. I was even going to reference that a little bit, and I remember, up even before that, everyone that I ever heard saying his name would always say Mate. And even on that show, they introduced him as Mate. So, but he says it Mate.
Yeah, and so does his dad and his brother, right. Who are also pretty cool. FYI.
Oh, hey. Sure.
I saw some video of the three of them actually all sitting down talking together. It was pretty good. But anyway, so yeah, they characterize this Fetterman clip as John Fetterman cheers like a 12-year-old when Israel kills Iranian general. Yeah. So that's what he said. He was like, "Oh, I think he even says when we smoked that general." He's just cheering on preemptive war crimes, and happily so, with Jake Tapper. I guess that's CNN. Yeah. So yeah, John Fetterman
That sounds right.
is just a fucking idiot.
I mean,
again,
how you gonna be a journalist? And you know that nominative determinism. How you gonna be a journalist and your last name is Tapper, man?
John Fetterman also took to the tweets and he said, I don't know who needs to hear this. That's another thing about this Fetterman guy is like he tries to use sort of like what he believes is up to date like internet lingo, and it just comes off as like a flailing old man who looks like the devil.
This is also like, it's like a, God damn it, I wish I could remember what it's called. That shitty ass art style movement that was like called like Austin something. Anyways,
Austin something.
Fucking this up, but it comes off like in the like it's like a slight level removed from like the end run of like Tumblr tender queer-esque thing. But yeah, they're like, I don't know who needs to hear this, but you know, when you're doing genocide, it's not cool. Yeah,
and that's and then like on the CNN interview, he said I'm here for it, with reference to let's start a fucking World War III with Iran. Basically, I'm here for it. Haha. Yeah. Look, I'm wearing a hoodie. That's like his whole fucking persona is I wear a hoodie. I look like Anton LaVey.
I'm Shrekton LaVey.
Shrek plus the founder of the Church of Satan. And my politics make LaVey's look downright solid. But he wrote, I don't know who needs to hear this, but blocking a bridge or berating folks in Starbucks isn't righteous. It just makes you an asshole. So yeah. Obviously he's referencing, maybe not obviously, but he's referencing pro-Palestinian demonstrations. That was another thing about the t-shirt wife, was like her whole thing was like, my face is not covered, like unlike you, like terrorist sympathizer anti-Semites who cover your faces. And it's like, well, you look at like some of the footage of the protests, maybe 25% of the people do have their faces covered. But then when I saw that, I was like, it's for pretty good reason. When you see that these pro-IDF groups are like talking about using like facial recognition technology to ruin people's lives, get them expelled and, fired from their jobs. It's like your side, sort of pushed some people into this, this face covering that you're construing as being like cowardice or like not really believing in what they're saying or something. But anyway, it's the Fetterman corner. They're gonna ban TikTok. That'll be, what's funny, Trump like started this whole idea, as far as I remember, about banning TikTok, and I think his reasoning was just because it's China-fied and China is our mortal enemy. But now there's like a sort of bipartisan consensus going on about banning TikTok, because some Congress people and senators are just coming outright and saying like, yeah, it's because young people are getting radicalized, quote unquote, about Palestine on TikTok. The whole thing is so stupid for several reasons. But one thing I saw recently that was kind of funny is that the Biden proposed ban on TikTok is set to go into effect the day before either he or Trump would take the presidency next year. It's like January 19th is when this ban would go into effect. I thought that was kind of just, I don't know, blatantly showing your cards.
Yeah, because the ban, you said it would go into effect when? January? What was 19th, the exact date?
Because, the president takes over the 20th.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. It almost feels like a hedge for thinking that Trump's
win. That's right? Kind of what I'm getting at. I
that's exactly what you're thinking too, right? Yeah. Yeah. Where it's just like,
it shows that it's all
people are so fucking stupid
and like bullshit.
Yeah. Well, it just shows that people are so fucking stupid, or they know that people are so fucking stupid that anything bad, they're just going to equate to who's president at the time. So if TikTok gets banned, you're going to be like, fucking Trump, when we had Biden, we had TikTok, and it was cool. I could like watch a ton of like crazy videos where dogs press buttons, where people prove if it's fact or cap, and also I could get ripped off by like dropship fast fashion clothes that like leggings that are supposed to make my cake jiggle or whatever. And then now that we got Trump, now that Trump is back, I can't even see none of that. Fuck this Trump guy.
He's just trying to silence Sarah Cooper and her lip sync videos of him. He's trying to
which ironically she's doing lip syncing, so she's already silent.
Right. He's trying to silence his own voice from being synced through the lips.
That's honestly, if there's literally one thing that men need to been stopped doing, it's silencing women who are talking with their voice and just lip syncing over them. Because if you ask me, I mean, men have had it too easy for too long. They think that they can just dictate when a woman uses their voice in a recording and lip syncs over it to be their own voice. And I simply have had enough.
Yeah, her body, your voice, her choice. That's what I always say.
We've been saying that for a long time.
All right, here's like an actual we can.
You want to get into some meaty stuff? You want to get some meaty stuff?
I was gonna say like lighten it up for a second. I just found out about this today.
Anyway.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm still thinking about the mass graves and whatnot, so I'm just trying to clear the air. But Aaron Sorkin's new project, I'm so excited about this. It's gonna be a colossal fucking piece of shit in the best way. He's writing a Jan 6th script as we speak. I noticed I like referencing previous episodes a lot, and I guess I'll do that again. We covered the trial of the Chicago 7, which was so fucking funny.
Okay, Josh, everyone listening, all of us, we all get it that you miss Jason. It's okay. You like to keep referencing old podcasts with you and Jason. That's okay. I understand.
Yeah. I, love myself first and foremost. I mean, I'm going to do it again in another story. So watch out.
Sure.
No, I mean, I know you're giving me guff. But
I'm just joshing.
It's just easier for me to say like, hey, check out this other episode if you haven't heard it, because like I don't want to try to like re-explain everything within this episode. But anyway, if you care to check out way back when, episode 22, Levitate This Podcast, The Trial of the Chicago 7. It's a good one. It's that movie was so hilariously stupid. And I imagine this January 6th movie is going to basically be like what he did for the trial of the Chicago 7. He's going to do with what happened on January 6th. In other words, it will be like ahistorical and very shit-libified and Sorkinized and all that. I'd like to imagine a lot of walk and talks amongst like protesters. I'm hoping that the Q shaman will be included. It'll be a huge mistake if he's not. But yeah, hopefully that movie comes out sooner than later for all our amusement and slander. Oh yeah, speaking of referencing past episodes, I found this news item about, let's see, millionaire made himself homeless and broke on purpose for YouTube hit. Found this in the Daily Mail, and it immediately reminded me of an old episode where we reviewed this book some guy wrote, where he did basically the same thing. He's like, I'm gonna prove that, with can-doedness and hard work and bootstraps, I can start off with like $0 in any city, any random city in America. And that whole story was really funny. I mean, and the funniness is all in the details, which, I'm not going to get into here again. But suffice to say, the guy's like little social experiment just sort of proves himself wrong, although he thinks he's made some great point in favor of like libertarian-esque ideology, which is what this more current guy did as well. He was like, except the difference between this more
it's pretty cool the way that they keep proving themselves wrong over and over again.
The guy in the who wrote the book that we reviewed, called Scratch Beginnings, by the way, I just looked it up. Adam Shepard. He was just like kind of like fresh out of college, you know, upper middle class, living with his parents, and then went out to like one of the nicest cities in America. I forget exactly where, somewhere in like North Carolina, and was like, I'm on the mean streets of Raleigh or whatever. Like, I mean, the funniest thing about like both of these guys' little fucking stupid experiment is that like the first things they do is immediately rely on like social welfare services and then like the kindness of strangers. So, but the difference is this guy was a millionaire, professed self-made millionaire, Mike Black. Let's see here. Embarked on a daring social experiment, intentionally becoming homeless to prove he could make $1 million in a year. However, concerns about his health led him to end the challenge early after facing the harsh realities of homelessness and his own health issues. Despite falling short of his financial goal, Black said his journey showcased the power of determination and the importance of health and family. The importance of health and family. Like, people already know. Right. Health is important. Thanks, guy.
Wait a minute. Health?
But like, okay. This guy, he like immediately, it shows him like he's just immediately begging on the streets. Like, he's doing the shit that he's saying people shouldn't be doing. Is like like impositioning other people. And it shows him like just like struggling. Like, he filmed all of it as well. And I'm sure they're like, the other guy wrote a whole book. So like, you know, you go like into his rules and stuff and like what he actually did. And the reason we even covered that book was because we did like a good book before that, Nickeled and Dimed, where Barbara Ehrenreich, she went out into the world and like tried to see what it was like to work like a minimum wage, like paycheck to paycheck type job. But she wrote about it honestly and, you know, whatever. And she had rules that she actually stuck to and so on. But anyway.
Right. And even, anyways, doesn't matter. Great book, good author, came to the correct conclusion, all that, but yeah, we'll just
basically the Scratch Beginnings guy and this Mike Black guy, they're the inverse of Nickeled and Dimed. They're trying to prove Nickeled and Dimed wrong, essentially, because Barbara Ehrenreich's conclusion was it's basically impossible to live this way, and if it's impossible and miserable. And these guys are like, it ain't so bad. And like this Mike Black guy, for several weeks he lived in like a really nice like RV like trailer that just some strangers let him stay in. This is basically like a free apartment. I mean, that's not suffering the same plight as, you know, an actual unhoused person. But anyway, so yes, a total fool. And supposedly, I mean, I guess he said he made like 60 grand in, I don't know, he in 10 months. Yeah, $64,000 in 10 months. And he was flipping furniture like through eBay or some shit. Anyway, another fool bites the dust, but not really. He's going to be just fine. He'll probably get like a book deal out of it as well. You sent me something on the chat. I didn't get it.
It was not much. It was a clip.
You want to tell us about it?
I think it's a...
That's a good... Sorry, I didn't see what you just sent me like an hour ago. Boeing jets come out as trans safe. They're not safe, but they, quote, identify as safe. Good shit.
Right. And I really like the idea behind that one, less than I like the fact that like they made it be like, you know, rainbow colored because it's like kind of right leaning and being like, ho ho ho, isn't it so funny or whatever. As opposed to just that the trans safe is funny enough as is, without feeling the need to like beat it like a dead horse. That this is about being fucking, you're being trans or whatever. Anyways, the clip that I sent you earlier was a video clip of Tony Khan, Tiny Con Man, as he's called by his detractors. He is the owner and president and, head creative person for AEW, the kind of number 2 brand in professional wrestling in America, probably in the world at this point. But he's also the son of billionaire, and he is also a billionaire himself, of Shad Khan, who made his money off of a fucking company that's called Flexengate, which I'm sure you've never heard of, right? It's just like, do you have any point of reference for Flexengate?
No, I don't.
The idea that the man who started and owns a company called Flexengate that you've never heard of is a billionaire, like 100 billionaire level wealth, is fucking crazy, right? Like, just think about that. Anyways, they make like parts for cars, but like not like mechanical parts. They make like like things that you clip onto your tailgate to make it look cool or do different. They make like stuff out of plastic for trucks and things. Okay. Right? That's like what they do. That's cool, good for them, whatever. But the other part of being the son of a 100 billionaire level fucking rich person is that he's also like number 3 or number 4 top person for the Jacksonville Jaguars, the NFL team. If you're familiar with the NFL, or have you heard of that's called? It's the National Football League. Yes, yeah. They have multiple different football clubs where they play American style football. So because he's one of the top people in the Jacksonville Jaguars, it's draft week right now. So they're drafting the next big time stars for the football teams, all that. But he also did a funny little angle on his wrestling TV show the night before the draft started, where he got attacked by some of his biggest stars and some people that he thought were friends, and they did a pile driver on him, right? And oh no. So he shows up on like big time serious football draft watch television, in his neck brace, selling his pile driver, and he drops, some interesting stuff. It's a 3-minute clip. I don't know if you want to try to play it, see if we can get, because this would be a good point to have you listen to it and have the audience listen to it. You could try to play it now and share it, or you can put it in afterwards.
Because of that devastating Meltzer driver, which has been rebranded.
Well, honestly, guys, they changed the name a couple months ago to the Tony Khan driver. Maybe I should have seen it coming in hindsight.
Wait, you knew they changed it a couple months ago? I mean, the clues were there.
They called it the Tony Khan driver. I have a complicated relationship with Matt and Nick and Jack. Jack had been out of AEW for a while. I'd sent him on an excursion to our partner in Japan where he did great things. I reinstated him Wednesday night on TBS by his own request.
Are we burying the lead
he
by
repaid
not
me by
mentioning
hitting me in the stomach with a microphone?
The Weinstein connection?
Matt and Nick pulled me up and gave me the Tony Khan driver, which is really a spike pile driver. It's one of the deadliest moves in pro wrestling. It's been banned in a lot of states. It's illegal in the state of Tennessee. And for them to do that to me in front of millions of people around the world and a great audience live Wednesday night on TBS, it scared me and it scared my family. And I just feel really lucky that I'm here at the NFL draft and with the Jaguars and able to still be working at the Jaguars and AEW right now.
Yeah, and you could hear the folks who came to your assistance yelling, what the hell are you doing? This is a billionaire. You got to be careful.
His father, Shad, came into the ring.
Yeah. Well, does Shad tell you, like, you got to stay out of the ring? Like, is he concerned for your well-being here?
No, he was very angry at the people that assaulted me. My dad loves AEW, and he's a big fan of what we do Wednesdays on TBS and
Nice
Saturdays,
plug.
just like tomorrow night here in
Stealth
Jacksonville
plugging.
on TNT every week. He watches every show, and he never expected something like that. It's never happened before. You know, AEW, we've been doing this for 5 years. We are the most successful sports startup since the AFL. Pre-merger. There has not been a challenger brand that has gained as much market share as AEW in many, many, many years. We are like the Pepsi of pro wrestling.
Football. Circle it back.
We're up against a really evil juggernaut. WWE is our competitor. That's who we're facing.
Another
AEW,
Coke
like the
v.
Pepsi of pro
Pepsi
wrestling.
saga.
WWE's like the Harvey Weinstein of pro wrestling. And I'm really proud of what we do down here.
All right, Tony. We're gonna.
Okay. Hold on, real quick. What's the prognosis? What are the Nats telling you?
Well, you know, to be honest, I think you're going to have to tune in to AEW to find out what they have to say.
There we go.
Me.
You find out on TNT and TBS what my prognosis is and what's going to happen to me.
I'll tell you what, save all that stuff. Just tell us who you're taking tonight. We'll take that here. How about that?
Well, guys, you know, this is the NFL Network. There's a lot of people watching. I can't give out that kind of sensitive information. And also, a lot of things have to play out in the second and third round. And you can bet Trent and Doug and this great group, we're going to make good decisions and keep trying to make the team better. I think a lot of great things happening in Jacksonville this week.
Feels like that was a bit of a promotional gambit.
Yeah, and I think it might have. Hopefully, it worked. But as you said, it's a classic Coke v. Pepsi, but it's not. It's a classic Pepsi. It's a classic Pepsi v. Harvey Weinstein.
Okay,
which
classic,
is
yeah.
We all know that when you go to the restaurant, you go to Taco Bell, maybe, and you're like, I'll take a Weinstein, and they say, I'm sorry, we've only got Pepsi. Okay, fine, I'll take Pepsi. But yeah, that was the point of the whole thing, that he not only went on the show wearing a neck brace, and I think, okay, so you listened to that as like 3 minutes, and you were even you were getting bored. The hosts of the show were getting bored as he's talking about like wrestling bullshit. Who cares? He lulled them into a false sense of security, and then he dropped a fucking bomb on them. It was just like, yeah, WWE is an evil fucking company. It's like Harvey Weinstein. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
I wasn't really. I was actually amused enough.
You were not expecting it.
I mean, it's in the description, but yeah. No, I just the stealth, quote unquote stealth plugs were really funny to me. Just like,
it's pretty good.
They ask him a straightforward question. He's like, well, I don't know about that, but Sunday nights at 7 on TNT or whatever the fuck.
It's pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah. So yeah, that was I think that'll be good for the audience on here who are not plugged into the wrestling. They're not tapped in to the wrestling side of things. Maybe not tapped into the sports side of things over here. Hearing the way that the two worlds collide, right? Because of Tiny Con Man, as we call him.
I don't know who CJ0 is on Twitter, but it's unfortunate that their name is CJ Fogler. I feel like Fogler is like a name like Hitler at this point. Yeah. You really don't want to have it.
Right. But yeah, either way, I guess that's the lighter. Was that on the lighter side?
Yeah, I would say so for sure.
Rape monsters. Yeah,
I think also on the lighter side is speaking of maybe like general con artists, scions of great wealth. Elon Musk is, if you can believe it, in the news.
Oh hell yeah!
As always,
in hot water again.
This most recent thing, I mean, it's not even that recent now. It's probably like, anyway, whatever. He's like been deposed. He's been giving some testimony. I mean, he has so many lawsuits against him. Probably, I can't even remember which one this is. I got to look at it. He's being sued for falsely suggesting a 22-year-old Jewish man was linked to a neo-Nazi brawl in Oregon last year. The plaintiff, Ben Brody, wasn't even in the same state when the brawl occurred. But that's not even the story I wanted to talk about. It's more that through this deposition, it came out that Elon Musk had been using an X account that was supposed to be, I guess, his toddler son's account.
Okay, and this is an interesting one because this one was all but proven in the court of public opinion way before it came out in discovery of this court
Yeah,
case.
I'm realizing these
tweets
tweets were made 2 years ago or almost.
Well, were you familiar with this?
No, this was the first I heard.
Because this was something that people had been talking about for years, 2 years, whatever, before.
Yeah, this is
all of it actually came out.
This is me coming to the party a little late.
No, I don't know. Here's the thing. It's not that you're coming to it late because it was like people were talking about it. It was out there. Everyone kind of knew it, but it was always, he denied it and it was swept under the rug or whatever. But the court case and all this stuff, discovery made it so that it's proven and he had to admit to it.
Right. Yeah. It's a fact, Jack. And some of the tweets that he made under the guise of his toddler son were, well, these are sort of devoid of context, but one just says, "Do you like Japanese girls?" as a reply to someone at Sailor, which just made me think, Steve Sailor?
I wouldn't put it past him.
What nightclub were you at? Replying to Bitcoin Magazine. Oh no. So that says here, Musk confirmed it was his, but dismissed it as a quote test account, which no, I would not use this account, Musk testified. It was just used for testing. Okay, he was interacting with Michael Saylor, some Bitcoin guy, and Airbnb CEO Brian Chesky. He also wrote, "I will finally turn 3 on May 4th. It's just, there's something just very weird about it. I don't know.
Listen, nobody is arguing that it's not weird.
I guess I wish I could articulate it beyond just it's weird, but I don't really even know what to say other than it's just fucking weird. It's almost as weird as the stupid name him and Grimes gave their son. I think that was another thing floating around the news recently, was that he and Grimes are maybe rekindling or some shit.
Yeah, they're messaging or talking or whatever, but it's just
morons made for each other.
Of course, that's how it works. I don't know. Yeah.
Her shit, I just gotta say, I saw you post something about it. Her fuck up at Coachella was pretty fucking hilarious.
Yeah. It was. Yeah.
It was honestly cool. Hard to watch. I don't even think I watched the whole video. I think I just kind of started skipping ahead because it just went on and on and on. Her struggling with tech that she should know how to use. But anyway, just to pile on Musk briefly with some headlines. We don't have to get really super into it, but I knew about how fucked up his relationship with his dad is, but I thought I always sort of just assumed his dad was dead by now, but he's very much alive. And
nope, he's hanging out.
And they, I guess, very much hate each other. I don't know. It's semi-interesting to sort of delve into the psyche of this weird plague on the world that is Elon Musk. It's like the villain's origin story type fascination.
Yeah.
Because his dad is a fucking monster, truly monstrous. But he's created another little monster in similar terms.
That's how it works.
They're both really into spreading their seed. Elon's dad so into spreading his seed that he impregnated his own stepdaughter. Which Elon has
smart.
Condemned, to be clear. And his dad also just came out and said that this was actually something I didn't know about Elon Musk. I didn't know that he was so stupid that he denied the fact that his wealth all comes from his father's emerald mines.
No, he did it on his own.
I thought for sure, that's just an easily verifiable fact.
No.
And
you can't verify the fact that he did it on his own.
No, but it's not just him saying I did it on my own. He's saying the mine that you're referring to doesn't exist, and he went as far as to say, this is probably old news as well, but whatever. I had never heard about this thing where he went on Twitter and said, I will pay 1 million Dogecoin for proof of this mine's existence. I don't know when this was, but
what's funny is why,
maybe a year ago.
What would make him do something that stupid when like the literal exact same thing is in the middle of biting Mike Lindell in the ass? And like he has to know him. He has to be familiar with Mike Lindell. They run in the same circles.
Yeah.
And it's like, why would you just do the same thing he did? Like, why would you do the exact same thing he did? Like, you know that this is going to bite you in the ass, man.
He also added, the fake emerald mine thing is so annoying, parentheses, sigh. But then, the headline is Elon Musk's dad says his son's whole career was funded by that emerald mine. Elon knows it's true. All the kids know about it. So yeah, obviously. I mean, how could you not know?
Yeah, exactly.
Then his dad went on to add, what Elon is saying is that there was no formal mine. It was a rock formation protruding from the ground in the middle of nowhere. Errol Musk said.
Earl.
My
name is Earl Musk.
Noting that he kept his involvement with the operation under the table. There was no mining company. There's no signed agreements. No one owned anything. The deal was done on a handshake with the Italian man. At a time.
The Italian man.
Yeah. So he was like plundering various South African adjacent countries back in the day, and now we have Elon Musk and have to know about him existing every week, day in and day out. So that guy lit himself on fire in front of the Trump trial courthouse. That was something.
Oh yeah. So okay. Do you have something on there that can explain this? Because
more and more came out. More and more came out about the guy. As you would expect.
It sounds like he's crazy.
And basically, it was kind of like he seemed to basically like just found out what InfoWars was like last week. Anyway, there's a picture. I mean, maybe this helps sum up his political crusade that he was on, leading up to him lighting himself on fire. He's holding up a sign in this picture. It says, "Trump is with Biden, and they're about to fascist coup us." So he's basically afraid of the great big kind of vague 1984 descending upon us. It's sad. He wasn't like, from what I could tell, he was just kind of like a confused guy who got really into sort of conspiratorial thinking. It wasn't like particularly anti-Trump. I think he just chose that spot as a place that would be very visible to the media. Like, he's basically described as being like basically kind of like a milquetoast liberal, like registered Democrat his whole life up until very recently. He got more
and then he got
radicalized and vocal.
Yeah.
He was really opposed to cryptocurrency as well. He like saw it as sort of this kind of like mark of the beast or something. I don't know, a sign of things going to shit, which it kind of is, I mean, in a way, but not quite in the way I think he was thinking about. But yeah, he just sort of had like kind of like a vague target on like the elites, I guess. And that's what his, what he was protesting. And he had written up like his like kind of like manifesto that he was passing out before the self-immolation, which I read I think I read maybe the whole thing, but now I can't seem to find it again. But I don't know. It's not like terribly interesting other than the fact that it's like the second big self-immolation in 2 months?
Right.
So I'd say that's a sign that things are going swimmingly in our American society. Oh, I got to bring up this one. We can wrap up here pretty quickly, but The inscrutable Chinese. What are they doing on the shadowy side of the moon?
Oh, this is a good one.
So, I don't even know if it matters who these people are, but I'm going to check anyway. I don't know. Basically, let me just check it out. Who is this? Who is this moron? Actually, we should just listen to this. This one's really short. It's like 40 seconds. Good Twitter follow. I'll shout out. Posted this at Set Pixels, also known as Correcting the Record with Guillotines. Did this guy have a Freaky Friday consciousness swap with his 9-year-old nephew, or did he headbutt a Cybertruck and forget everything he ever knew about the moon? What on earth could that mean? Let's find out and play.
And we're trying to get at what's the Chinese are doing, you think, on the backside of the moon. Do you have any insights in that?
They are going to have a lander on the far side of the moon, which is the side that's always in dark. We're not planning to go there.
And why not? And what's the benefit of doing so?
We don't know what's on the backside of the moon, so that would be something that they would discover. But our decision is that it's more profitable for us to go to the south pole of the moon because we think that's where the water is.
So why do you think they made that decision? I'm curious.
I have no idea.
So yeah, our halls of power are just filled with morons who don't know how the moon works and speak in hushed tones.
Trying to get over there to the dark side of the moon.
About the suspicious Chinese and with their suspicious insectile ways.
They're trying to steal the Pink Floyd album from us. They're trying to get to the dark side of the moon so that they can do the trippiest pot and know about like the deepest sides of the furthest reaches of their mind, man. What are we gonna do?
Yeah, I don't know. We should be worried. So I guess we
should be worried. You said that like you're not that worried.
The guy testifying to Congress there was NASA Chief Bill Nelson. Holy shit. I didn't realize he literally worked for NASA and he's talking about the moon like a child. And if you do a quick search of him plus moon and China, there's a lot of other stuff coming up like hashtag China is taking over the moon.
Yep, that's right.
Anyway, I don't know. There's not so much to say about that other than it's insanely stupid for so many reasons. But yeah, he's basically saying that China is like trying to like militarize the shadowy parts of the moon, but we don't know what's going on there because it's dark. We don't know what's on the other side of the moon, right. Which is just a falsehood, of course. Yes, the moon rotates, the Earth rotates. It like I guess basically to the point where like we perpetually see one side of it, but that doesn't mean we haven't seen the other side either. Also, the whole point about like the U.S. is going to go to like the South Pole of the moon, whatever. I don't know. It's like I can't even like say anything about it. It's so stupid. So I guess to truly close out. There's a competition I just learned about that, maybe I'll enter. It's called, there we go, Seoul's annual Space Out competition returns in May. So I guess this has been happening for years now. Seventh of its kind. Okay, the competition, which will mark the 7th of its kind this year, is aimed at changing a prevalent social norm that taking downtime is wasteful and spreading the idea that spending time doing nothing can be valuable. The event has received huge attention since singer Crush, who I've never heard of, became the first winner in 2016. Participants are asked to sit still and do nothing for 90 minutes. Those who talk, check their smartphones, move around, or fall asleep will be disqualified. The winner is decided based on heart rate data and an on-site vote. Organizers will measure heart rate of competitors every 15 minutes and award points. Those who maintain stability in their heart rate graph or show a downward curve will remain in the running. On-site spectators will vote for those who they think are performing the best. That part seems like it could be rigged easily. But let's see, what else about this? Right. Competitors will be able to express needs by showing color cards to organizers. For example, a blue card means they need water. A red card means they need to get a massage. And a yellow card means they need to be fanned to cool down. I just like this whole competition is pretty funny to me, especially the water everything massage and being fanned on demand.
I'm into that.
And just see who can zone out the best. And it's essentially like everyone's on their dang smartphones so much. It's such the norm that now we have to have competitions to see if people can go an hour and a half without looking at their phones, which is kind of amusing to me. Let's see, what day is this? Maybe I should try it. I got nothing else going on.
Yeah, might as well.
I keep a pretty low resting heart rate. Actually, I should use that. What's the prize? A trophy and a certificate. I want a trophy for
Want some cash?
What was it called? I want a Space Out competition trophy.
For sure.
I don't know if there's any cash.
But you could do a TED Talk.
Yeah, maybe I could.
How to be the space.
Parlay this into a TED Talk about mindfulness.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. We've been going a good while.
It's true.
I think that's basically it. I think we did like a lot of these articles here.
Most of them, I think.
Unless you got anything you want to add before we shift to the end. Then
my only friend, the end.
Insert door song here. General recommendations then. Oh, I just wanted to say that website that you got the what was it, trans safe plane thing from?
Oh,
Have you seen their actual website?
No.
They're 100% like they're 100% like a right wing The Onion, which I guess is, they're just like they're like a non-Christian Babylon Bee then, maybe, because it seems like a little more edgy than Babylon Bee.
Yeah, which you have to be fair to me. I did not get it.
No, I know.
I
You saw
that.
You saw the tweet,
picture,
right?
But that's where
but I was like, I saw the name of it, and I was like trying to pronounce. It was the name of the fuck. I hate the name itself. I can't even say it. GeneseusTimes.com. Ooh, they're getting Gavin Newsom here. California tourism launches "Come to Kill Your Baby, Stay for the Weather" campaign. Got his ass.
That's a bit too off the chain for me.
January 6 defendants released after claiming they were, quote, just protesting for Gaza. I love how these right-wing freaks think that, like, the mainstream media is on the side of people protesting in a pro-Palestinian way. It's just so delusional.
Right.
Okay, so general recommendations.
Okay. General recommendation. You know what I've been watching?
Sorry.
About 2 seasons in. Oh.
Can you hang on 1 second? All right. Sorry about that. What have you been watching? Oh, you are gone as well. Let's see. Read a few more headlines from GeneseusTimes.com. AOC says, I don't need truckers. I get my food from the grocery store. Deep Thoughts by AOC.
All right. I'm back, and what I've been watching, I'm about 2 seasons in at this point, and I'm going to recommend it, even if I don't love it, and I even hate saying it, Resident Alien. Have you seen this?
It rings a vague bell, so no, I have not seen it.
I think it's on...
like sci-fi?
I have to look. Kind of?
I mean, like the Sci-Fi Channel?
It's like a sci-fi... That's what I was gonna say. I think it's on the Sci-Fi Channel.
It says comedy drama.
But I've
series.
been watching it on Netflix. But it's a comedy. Yeah, it's a comedy show. It's got Alan Tunkey.
No, wait.
You're not gonna know.
I know who he is. I mean, and here's how you honest to God say his last name. His name is Alan Tudyk. I'm dead serious.
Nope.
It's easy to remember that way too. I see Linda Hamilton. I'm not mad at that. She's Linda cool. Hamilton.
She's on it a little bit, very small. Alison Wetterland, which other people don't care about this, but I know her from booking comedy shows 10, 12, 15 years ago. So yeah, she used to be a stand-up comedian.
I know her vaguely as well. Yeah.
She was a pretty funny comedian, but now she does this kind of stuff. Anyways, fun show. Recommend.
It is a sci-fi show, by the way.
It's goofy. It's silly. It's on Sci-Fi Network. Yeah, I've been watching it on Netflix, I think, or Hulu. One of the two. It doesn't matter. It's all the same shit, right?
Kind of,
just pay for it. Just give them your money. Yeah. It's about an alien who comes to America, comes to Earth in America, and it's got a lot of goofy shit. It's got a lot of... It's not hard sci-fi. There's tons of stuff that you can question, where you can be like, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Sure, yeah.
Especially if you've got like an analytical brain. But as I said, it's fun. It's fun. It's funny. It's like decent for something that's like been made modern. Because a lot of stuff, a lot of modern stuff sucks shit. It's just not very good. This is like a decently funny show that's modern. I'd recommend it based on that.
Cool. Alan Tudyk's a good actor, and he's got 2 dicks. So
he definitely has.
Does he play the
dicks.
alien?
He's fun. He's the main guy. He's the alien. Okay. Yeah. He's pretty good.
I want to say he was in. I think what you said was the one and only Star Wars movie you actually liked. The one that's very like Vietnam.
Was he?
I think he does the voice of one of the robots or something. But anyway, I don't know why I'm thinking of that suddenly, but
I think the first time I saw him was in Death at a Funeral, but he was not like a main character in that, and then I remember seeing him in like Dodgeball, because he was the pirate guy or whatever.
Oh yeah, Jesus, that's a blast from the past.
Yeah, and that's like kind of the stuff that I think of him from. And then he's done other stuff since then, obviously, and it seems he does a lot of voice work, right? But it's something for him to be like the lead is pretty good, and it's going into I think the 4th season. They're like producing the 4th season now, so yeah. And he's from Texas? That doesn't even make sense. He doesn't seem like a Texas guy at all. Anyways.
Good old Texas Tudyk.
Everyone calls him that. They always are saying Texas. Everyone likes a nice Texas Tudyk. His dad, it seems like his parents are famous because they both have blue links on Wikipedia.
It must be then. I'm going to recommend 2 things. One motion picture called Late Night with the Devil. It's a pretty new one. I guess it came out maybe late last year, but I don't know. I think it was getting like a fair amount of like sort of buzz on the internet. It's a fairly unique premise. I guess it's broadly a horror film, although it's not particularly scary. It's more like, it's actually really funny in a lot of ways. But basically the premise is there's this late night show in the 70s, and like it's kind of like teetering on the edge of like cancellation. So it actually captures that whole phenomenon we started talking about in the beginning of this episode, about like how much are people just like faking shit for the sake of like clicks and grifting, and like how much do people really believe what they're talking about. And basically it's like he has like do you remember there was this old guy back in like the, I don't know, maybe mid 2000s, like sort of new atheist era. It's like the amazing Randy or something like that.
Yeah.
He had his famous thing was like he carried around a check with him for like $1 million or something that was like, if someone can prove like, you know, some supernatural thing, he'll like pay them, but like it has to be proved, you know, whatever, like beyond, you know, whatever, up to some certain standards. Anyway, they have like kind of like a stand-in for that guy on the show, and like an obvious stand-in for that guy. And then they have like people coming on who claim to be like mediums, or like they have like this girl who's like supposedly like possessed by the devil, essentially. Anyway, it goes in some like surprising directions, and it was interesting the whole time. And I think a big part of it was the host of the show, who I guess, you know, he's the main character of the movie. He's this actor that I've always liked, but I'd only ever seen him in like bit roles basically, but he was always really memorable in them. Like The Dark Knight, he's the guy who's like a schizophrenic who I don't know. There's a scene where he's like basically being tortured by Aaron Eckhart, you know, whatever his name is, Harvey whatnot.
I really like Aaron Eckhart a lot. He's a great actor.
He is, but so is this guy whose name I'm only knowing. I mean, I should try to remember it because he is really great in this movie. But I always liked him as in these smaller little roles. He always stood out to me. David, I don't even know how to say his last name. David Dastmalchian. Anyway, if you see his face, face, you probably recognize him right away. And it's like, oh, that guy. He's one of those that guys. But this is like, from what I can tell, his first like kind of starring role, and he's really good in it as this late night TV show host who's like very kind of caught in the middle between like believing in something weird and supernatural going on, writing it off as bullshit, really cravenly just wanting to get high ratings, but also like being afraid for like the actual safety of people around him and so on. And anyway, great movie. I had a lot of fun watching it. And they do a good job like with all this sort of like 70s stylization and whatnot. Then also there's this series that just started. I've only seen the first 2 episodes, but it's so fucking good. I'm sure it will continue to be great, called The Sympathizer. It's maybe the most famous or second most famous Korean filmmaker, Park Chan-wook. It's he's a showrunner, and I think he's directing all the episodes, but it's like an HBO show, so it's like, you know, English language mostly, but then there's a lot of Vietnamese in it because it's about the Vietnam War era and about the CIA and like spies and various assets, but it's also really like funny. It's a great blend of like kind of like thriller, but also, you know, dark comedy. And I thought it was cool that like, I don't know, usually I don't I think like sort of like racial representation can get like really dicey in some ways in certain shows and movies and stuff, where that's all people focus on is like, hey, look, there's like 3 broadly Asian guys and a black dude and a Latinx lesbian, or you know what I'm saying, like the fucking Benetton rainbow of representation. But in this, since there's so many Vietnamese characters, I thought it was very cool that they're all actually Vietnamese actors. Or, you know, maybe like, I mean, I'm sure some of them are like, whatever, like born in the US or Canada or something. But like, anyway, my point is they're speaking Vietnamese in a credible way in the scenes where they're supposed to be speaking Vietnamese. So that was kind of refreshing, I guess. And then big star on the show is Robert Downey Jr. He plays this totally evil, but like sort of magnetic, like fun to watch CIA agent, and he's like all in kind of like old age makeup. Actually, he plays multiple characters. He's doing kind of a Peter Sellers thing. He also plays this like despicable like college professor who's like the head of the Oriental Studies department or whatever, and he's just like a great stereotype of like the white guy who's obsessed with Japanese shit. It's a pretty good lampooning of like that kind of person. So anyway, it's all based on a novel that was also written by a Vietnamese writer, also of the same name, The Sympathizer, and it's been really great so far. And I think that third episode is coming out this weekend, so I'll be catching that right away. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely check that out.
Yeah, I think you'd like it for sure. It's really good.
Yeah.
Now, to end the show, we say things like check out that show description, links. Yeah. Since this was an episode with lots of articles, I will link to the document with all those articles if you want to fact check us, and where you can air your discontent or praise. Don't be shy now. Is on our Discord. Join our Discord. Chime in. You can check out all of our back catalog at our website, as well as other places. Website is heatdeathpod.com. And the show description has links to all the other social media type things, Twitter, etc. Sort of, kind of, trying to use Instagram again. Check us out. Tim, you've got another podcast.
Follow me on Twitter at ROH. I said follow me on Twitter at ROH Dutch. Follow the website at violent_people. Check out the website at violentpeople.co. Yeah, co. My podcast is on there. It's now called QNTR. It's good.
What do you boys talk about over there?
Talking about pro wrestling, some of that stuff we were talking about earlier with Tiny Con Man and his little neck brace. We talk about the pay-per-view that led to that storyline, is the most recent one, with a special guest, my good friend Dan Rice, who's one of the most thoughtful and interesting writers that I've ever known. I really like Dan quite a bit and the stuff that he puts out. And he works for the website, so that's pretty neat. You can listen to him talk to us about stuff. And that's the thing I would say. Check that out, and that's it for me.
Cool. I can't remember why, but I was on like the Apple or iTunes, whatever the fuck, podcast page. And I was looking at some of the reviews of Q and TR. Got some nice reviews over there. I recall one saying something about being much better than your typical wrestling podcast. Or
that's not wrong.
All these other shitty ass wrestling podcasts, or however it was phrased. So yeah, check that out.
That's not wrong. There was also a really fun one that I like it because it was a bad review, and the person was like, they were talking about me, but they didn't say my name, but they're just like, he's just so incredibly hyperbolic, and he makes up these straw men to argue with. No one would ever fucking say that stuff. And like, I'm always just like, you have no idea, because I'm in the fucking deep, dark trenches listening to the most sickos drudging through the worst fucking tweets on the internet. I'm like, I don't make this shit up, man. Like, I wish that I didn't have this poison in my brain. So it's just very funny to see the person who's like, it's a good show, but Tim is really hyperbolic sometimes about the takes that he's like arguing against. He's just making straw men to tilt it, doing the Don Quixote thing and tilting at a fucking, oh God, I can't think of the word, a windmill or whatever. Windmill. It's not a windmill or whatever. It just is a windmill. I wish that my demons were in my head, but they're real and I know their names. Anyways, yes, check out the podcast. It's good for a wrestling podcast. That's what I get told. One of honestly the most well-respected writers as far as like where I come from, for wrestling writing, Simon, El Hijo de Simon, Handwork Review. He regularly refers to our podcast as the only wrestling podcast worth listening to. So that means a lot, because it's like I respect, and a lot of people actually respect him, as opposed to a ton of people who write stuff about wrestling and it's just complete dog shit. So yeah, that's it. We do our own thing, but like, that's the whole fucking point.
That's awesome. Yeah. You got Only 5-star reviews. I can't say that about Heat Death.
It's new.
We got 1-star. Show yourself, coward. No review on that one. No, but the first one that pops up says retracting previous 3-star review. That's high praise. If someone goes back to like change their review, like
sure,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's nice. But anyways, like I said, it's who cares? We're the new. I don't even want to get into this. Close out the podcast. We're done.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll also just like use that as a way to dovetail into saying something I never say on the show, which is like, you know, nice reviews are nice if you feel like leaving one.
Sure.
So, yes, with that, you know, as I always say, you know this, I always say it. That's how you know it's true. I don't want candy, but the parasites in me want candy. I don't want liquor, but the parasites in me want liquor. Good night. Good luck. Good morning, Vietnam.
In
The first voice recording was made in 1860. It was a 10-second fragment of the French folk song Au clair de la lune recorded by inventor Edward Leon Scott de Martinville. But who will make the final voice recording and when? What will it be? Who will hear it?